You are now entering Clearview, Illinois. Sylvester called it the midnight shift. Classes by day, gym at dusk, content at night. Rent was expensive, tuition was worse, and attention was the only currency that felt infinite. By midnight, the apartment turned into a set. Blackout curtains, a dim lamp throwing honey-colored light, an LED strip that could bleed the room red or drown it in blue. Nate handled the rig, tripod, ring light, shotgun mic clipped near the chair. Sly did wardrobe ties, suspenders, mask, and a milk crate like a costume shop for wolves. Then the ritual oil for the arms, towel for the sweat. One last flex that both of them pretended not to notice the other doing. Online, Sylvester and Nate were Sly and Doom. Sly shirtless, all ink and swagger, suspenders hanging off his shoulders like a dare. Doom, tight black tanks, skeletal gloves, the heavy stillness of a statue poised to move. Their thing wasn't dancing, it wasn't jokes, it was presence. The camera loved that they didn't smile, the algorithm loved that they didn't blink. Music, slow, sultry, edits, knives, mask, always. The rabbit mask glowed neon white with razor teeth, LEDs. The bear snarled in bright blue. They had bone masks, two matte, cracked, hand-painted shadows in the hollows. The rules were simple: never show your face, never break character, never explain the fantasy. Your comments scrolled like worship. I'd fail a background check for both of you. This is my Roman Empire. And does the kidnapping start? Asking for a friend. They skimmed, snorted, screen-grabbed the wild ones. Sly would throw his feet on the couch after a shoot and read them out loud in his preacher voice. Doom would grunt the occasional "Amen." Then the first message from subscriber 13 slid in like a draft under the door. You don't know what hunting is? Sly grinned. Edgelord o'clock. He double-tapped the comment and moved on. The next post, they went live. Neon rabbit, neon bear. Sly leaned into the lens until the LEDs turned his teeth into knives. Run and we'll catch you. The chorus hit. A jump cut punch. Doom lifted a prop knife, not a hair of his tank creasing. Within seconds, a new comment pinned itself to the top like a spider. Prey doesn't flirt back. Okay, that's committed. Doom said, trying to laugh it off. Committed gets engagement. Sly shrugged. Let him monologue. They posted again and again. Growth was a slope they could feel under their feet. Brand deals started nosing around. They learned the timing. 2:17 a.m. was a honey spot for thirsty insomniacs and night shifters. Their followers called them gods, devils, husbands, jailers. The two of them learned to wear silence like a suit. Subscriber 13 learned to knock. You lean forward like you're in control. You're not. That knife was plastic, mine isn't. I wore masks when masks were for survival, not likes. Doom blocked him. The next day, the account reappeared. S13 again. You think this is a joke? Joke's in. Hunting doesn't. Okay, so he's weird, Sly said, laying two outfits on the bed. Black suit with a vest or black vest with suspenders. Vest tonight. Pants. Doom said, bearer bone. Bone, we're going private nightmare. He meant it as a bit, but the air in the apartment had begun to feel like a thought you couldn't finish. The video that nudged them from creepy fun to something else was a simple one. Sly in a leather chair, shirtless, suspenders slung, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees. Doom standing behind him in the tank, knife angled to catch the red-blue light. No sound except the music, no move except the breath. The comments exploded as usual. Fire, skulls, wedding emojis, and then, "Keep the window open tonight." Sly stared at it longer than he wanted to. "He's just guessing we have a window." "We do have a window," Doom said, then regretted saying it. "We're good. Door's locked. It's noise. Free attention." "Right," Sly said. He tried to shrug it off. The shrugs didn't stick. That night, a storm wandered across the skyline. The city pulsed orange and blue through the curtains. The power blinked and steadied. They reset the breaker on instinct. College boys with poor wiring learn fast. "Dude, we should do a plague doctor one," Sly said to fill the space. "Bone mask on you, the beak on me. Lean darker. Grown-up boogeyman. Tilting it. Doctor's orders. Feels illegal," Doom said, which made Sly grin. He went to the kitchen to grab water. The living room dimmed to that comforting half-lit hush of after work. Doom scrolled their comments again because he liked to torture himself. Ping. "New DM. Behind you." He whipped the phone up to show Sly over the counter. "Real funny." Sly half smiled. "He's just guessing." "Yeah," Doom said. He took a breath and held it until it hurt, then let it go. "Just guessing." They decided to push it. "Suit and tie," Sly ruled the next night. "Plus the break. Doom, tank and knife. Half backlit, window behind, waist up." He pointed like a director. The camera saw him the way the world did, a man sure of the shot. Doom straightened the tripod. "We need a line." "I got one." Sly slid the plague doctor mask down, beak cutting his profile into something inhuman. He turned to lens and, soft enough to force every watcher to lean toward their phone, breathed. "Have you ever played tag? How about we give you a running start? If we catch you, we get to do whatever we want." "Good girl." The chorus hit. The cut landed. Doom stepped into frame like a nightmare someone asked for. They let the camera run after the performance. Habit, laziness, superstition. They learned things about themselves in the stray minutes after the bit. Sly's posture, Doom's stillness, the sound the ring lights made when it dimmed. They learned the quiet tone the apartment took when it thought it was alone. That's why they both heard the lock. A soft kiss of metal, a click, not the door, the window. Sly pulled off the beak. Doom's hand hovered in air like he'd forgotten where he'd set the prop knife. The city light cut across the floor in a new angle, as if something large had shifted the curtain. "Hello?" Sly said, "Because you say something, because silence was surrender." No answer. A voice came from the dark, low and precise, like he practiced his first line in the mirror. "Have you ever played tag?" The man didn't glow. He didn't need to. He stepped forward in a plain black ski mask, and the room moved around him like it had always made space for him. His coat hung heavy with damp. On his hands, black leather gloves. In one of them, a knife that had never seen a prop box. "Run," he invited, as if reading their script back to them. "Please." Sly's chest tugged for air. Doom swallowed and didn't find enough throat to hide it. Neither of them moved. How do you sprint in a dream where your feet are sand? "You boys wear masks for attention," the man said calmly, conversationally, as a neighbor over a fence. "I wore masks because I wasn't supposed to leave witnesses." He wasn't big. He wasn't theatrical. His power was in the vacuum, an absence of anything else in the room once he arrived. Sly glanced at the tripod. The tiny red light said the camera still loved them. You think this is content? The man's blue eyes, icy hypnotic, were the one bright thing the shadows couldn't own. You think fear stops where your edits start? Okay, Sly said, finding his voice and touching it like he wasn't sure it belonged to him. Okay, look, man, if you want us to stop using knives, want? The man repeated, testing the word like a foreign vowel. You boys don't know what that word means. Doom shifted his weight, the floor complaining under him. The man's head tilted at the sound, dog curious. Doom realized he was still wearing the skeletal gloves. It felt like a joke he wished he could peel off. Sly raised a hand, open, slow, palms empty. We can talk. We are talking, the man said, not unkind. He walked towards the leather chair and with no hurry at all lay the knife along his arm as if he were setting down a pin. His other hand drifted towards the milk crate. Mass stared up like defanged animals. The man lifted two, the rabbit and the bear. He turned them the way you examine trophies. Blood would come later. For now, the future, cleaning its nails. You think masks keep you safe? He murmured almost to the camera. Masks keep me honest. His stare cut between them. Sly and Doom, two boys who'd built towers on a dare. He pointed the rabbit mask at Sly. Run. Sly didn't. The body is pride until it is a statistic. He took a step instead, towards the camera, towards the man, towards the only thing that ever gave him permission to be bigger than himself. Don't, Doom said, which was the most human word. The man's eyes brightened, something like pleasure. Yes, he said, almost gently, as if they were all in agreement at last. What happened between that yes and the in could be told as a list. Two full, one bitten in half, one broken lamp, a trail of red like a punctuation lesson. The strange soft thud of a body finding the carpet. It could be told as a montage timed to a chorus. It could be smoothed by fiction until it slid down like a pill. Or it could be told by the camera that stayed rolling. The video went up an hour later on a schedule they hadn't set. No soundtrack, just room tone and the ambient breath of a city that spits out another night and swallows what it must. The frame was almost static, the leather chair in center, the window behind, the table at left. The only movement was dust drifting like snow in a desert. At 0:21, a man walked in from the night. He wore a black ski mask. His shirt was drenched, the front of him shining wetly with something the LED had never had to illuminate before. He held two masks in black-gloved hands. He carried them with the quiet authority of someone who doesn't need to prove the object's weight. He stood before the table and dropped them. The rabbit, the bear. They hit wood with a sound more alive than they had any right to. The LED in the rabbit's grin flickered again, died. He sat in the chair. The camera sought his eyes the way heat seeks a vein, blue, hypnotic, alive in a way neon never is. He leaned onto the back of the chair, the way Sly had never leaned forward. He breathed in. He let the silence expand until the room felt like it would burst. Online, you learn to fill space. He knew better. He made space fill him. People watching later said the weirdest part was how normal he looked. No horns, no voice effects, no theatrics. Just a man who had picked up a mast the way a mechanic picks up a wrench. He angled his head down a fraction, aligning his gaze with the center of the lens. "Good girl," he said, soft, approvingly. The frame trembled, the tiniest touch to the tripod, a hand just off-screen, the feed cut. In the morning, their followers thought it was a masterpiece. The comments denoted, "Oscar-worthy practical effects. OMG. Team Sly forever. Doom, I still love you. Tell me this is fake, I'm shaking." "This is not funny. You guys went too far. This is the best one yet. How did they make the blood look that real?" Subscriber 13 called it. LMAO. Brands emailed. Playlists embedded them. The video got flagged, unflagged, debated, worshipped, copied, duetted. The true believers started messaging tips to the police. The cops knocked. The landlord opened. The couch smelled like iron. The window latch was cracked like a tooth. In the bedroom, the milk crate was light. The leather chair had a groove in it like a body that had learned how to sit there. The walls were blank. The ring light, when tested, still hummed. The camera SD card held 3 unreleased drafts. 6 minutes of bloopers and a long uncut shot that ended with a whisper and a cut to black. People hunt for the origin of a ghost story. They need a pin in the map, an address to drive by, a photo to say, "See? This is where it happened." Sly's mother posted a baby picture, fat cheeked, the kind of light that makes you swear the son's job is personal. Nate's sister set up a GoFundMe that felt like a prayer someone hung in a window. "Remember them by their real names," one comment said, buried under 1,000,000 hearts. "Remember that they were boys that wanted to be bigger than a bill overdue." Most people didn't read that far down. A month later, a new account surfaced. Blank bio, no post. It followed exactly 2 people, both grayed out, both gone. The handle had no vowels, just a shape you sounded out in your head. The first and only comment appeared under a new creator, a kid with a plastic skull mask, purple LED lighting, whispering lines he'd stolen from Sly. "Masks don't keep you safe. Masks keep me honest." The kid pinned it to the top. "Engagement is engagement," he told his roommate. Creepy, right? Free views. That night, his window latch gave the soft little sigh of metal after a long day. People asked what Sly and Doom would have wanted, as if either of them could have planned a eulogy inside a brand deal. Doom would have wanted the video taken down. Sly would have wanted it to hit 10 million before it was. The city kept pausing, the algorithm kept chewing, the leather chair stayed exactly where it was until the landlord sold it on a neighborhood app. Listing title, gently used black leather accent chair. Description, good condition, minor scratches, pickup only. A buyer came in a hoodie and paid cash. He tested the chair by sitting down lightly, then deeper, as if listening for an old echo. For a moment, he looked like he might speak. The seller waited. The buyer stood, patted the back as if it had done a good job, and wheeled it to the freight elevator without a word. In the reflection of the elevator's glass, his eyes were the only thing a camera would have loved more than the chair. Blue, hypnotic, patient. Somewhere a new ring light hummed to life, and the window latch learned a brand new sound. You are now exiting Clearview, Illinois. I hope you enjoyed the trip.